Last time what I talked about was why the politicians are behaving so treacherously in promoting Islam all the time, that they're doing it because it makes us more manageable, easier to rule, by grinding us down, by reducing our sense of identity, by sowing division, divide and rule. It's not a new policy. The embarrassing question that needs to be faced is then, why are we, the voters, allowing them to get away with this? Because we are allowing them to get away with this. There's been, over the last decade, there's been some small progress by some Islam critical parties in Europe, but in general, when it comes to the crunch, we always vote in the treacherous, the devious pro-Islam governments. And it isn't enough to blame this on media conspiracy. That's just a lazy excuse. And it's not enough to say we're all scared of being persecuted, we're all scared of getting singled out, for the simple reason that voting is secret. And you can't get persecuted for something that nobody knows about, that's done in secret. Nor can you go the other way and say, well, everyone obviously thinks Islam's wonderful and wants more of it. We have all seen every bit as much as we need to see of Islam to know what it's about. And we quietly regard anyone as a fool who wafts on about Islam being a religion of peace.
Islam is a religion of peace.
Islam is a religion of peace.
The reason for our passivity appears to be our need to survive, our need to keep what works working. And that means in a big state, welfare state economy, that means keeping the welfare state going, keeping the economy managed and not rocking the boat too much. And the politicians know that. They like that. They understand it. That doesn't mean we're all completely shallow and materialistic. It just means we need to survive. What most people say to themselves, quite understandably, is, I'm going to worry about keeping it together, about surviving. I'll worry about civilization later. And you can say maybe we should all be more noble and self-sacrificing than that, but the reality is we're not. Most of us can't afford to be. But the politicians shouldn't get too happy about that, because that will all change in a hurry and quite violently if the welfare state and the state itself break down. If the welfare state breaks down, the state authority will probably break down. And if that happens, people will wake up in a bad, ugly mood. That will not be nice, but that doesn't mean it can't happen, because where economics are concerned, things that can't go on forever don't go on forever. And that is why I fight mosque construction. That's why I oppose planning permissions for mosques, because the more we retain the balance of power, the more the more we're able to contain the problem, the wider our range of options for dealing with the problem, and the more humanely we can deal with the problem. I want us to win, but I want us to win without cruelty, without massacre, in a way that preserves our moral authority for future generations. Now later I'd like to go through to talk about what I think is likely to happen in a situation like that, if there is a breakdown in the welfare state. But before I do that, next time I'd like to talk about why it is important for us, especially important for us, the English, to preserve ourselves.